folks, now in our autofill exercises lecture, the last exercise of tab autofill exercises 2, which I asked you to do, was to basically autofill 2 columns, weekdays only, and in descending order. Now, I did emphasize quite a lot in that autofill exercise lecture for that part to remember to do the weekdays only. And it was bolded, and the reason for this is because I want to teach you a type of skill which you're going to need in Excel in terms of actually going from a beginner to an expert level. So what I'm going to do is basically go to autofill answers 2 and see our results for that question. Right, now, as you can see here, we've got dates going down in descending order. Now, there are a couple of gaps, so for that, you could pretty much go on the assumption that basically it's left out Saturday and Sunday. Now, for the weekdays, which we asked the autofill to do, you can see we go Friday, Thursday, but then something weird happens. We get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, which basically doesn't make sense, because when you do this autofill and you drag it down, Excel's supposed to detect the pattern. So let's just recreate that bit, and I'll show you what I mean. If I go Friday, Thursday, now, if I select these two and drag it down, Excel will detect, in this instance, that we're going in descending order. However, what I asked was to do the weekdays only. So, for the descending order, which has all the days of the week, it seems fine. But if you go here, and then click to fill weekdays, something weird happens. Just watch. You see that, folks? This bit here changes, and we get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's no Saturday and Sunday, and then we go to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So what's happening here? Well, in this instance, Excel hasn't detected the right pattern. It's basically reversed our actual intended pattern, and in addition to that, has given us an arbitrary day of Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday, and so forth going upwards. So you see, folks, in this instance, it might look correct. There's no obvious error, but it isn't correct. We wanted Excel to go into a descending order and exclude Saturday and Sunday, which we didn't get. So what's the purpose of showing this example? Well, I wanted to illustrate the fact that Excel is a tool to help you get your work done, but at the end of the day, you're in the driving seat. So what that means is whenever you do calculations, basic ones through to advanced ones, always check the work to make sure it makes sense. Excel will get you there, probably 90% of the way, but 10% you need to actually check your work and make sure patterns make sense, make sure formulas make sense, and things you're doing make sense. Because remember, folks, once you do your Excel spreadsheet, say if it's for a client or for a deadline, once you send it off, it's out of your hands. So that's a lesson which I wanted to teach with regards to this autofill exercise, and the reason I specified quite strongly to do weekdays only, because this is a known fault in Excel where the pattern gets misinterpreted for this instance. Now, it's very hard to spot because you overly might not think that Excel might misinterpret it, but it did in this instance. However, as I was saying, if you're aware of what something really should be like, or you have a feel for it, when you look at the results, you should be able to spot it. Now, again, as a beginner, this skill gets better in time and with practice in using Microsoft Excel. Sometimes what can happen in Microsoft Excel is you may not get an error message, but the data or the result you get may not be the one which is correct for what you're actually doing. Now, that's a very evolved type of error because it involves you having to actually spot it and look at it. The reason why I gave you a taster of that was just to show you the type of errors that you can get in Excel. Now, you can get traditional error type messages, which we will take a look at later on in the course. However, these type of errors are what I call runtime errors. So as you're actually doing Excel, you'll get something which doesn't make sense or doesn't fit what you're trying to do, but yet it won't flag up as an error. Now, it's down to the end user, which is you, to basically recognize this. And again, as I was saying before, folks, it is a skill which you will build in time. And as you go on through this course, it will get better in terms of your skill identifying and building in Microsoft Excel. Now, in case you are wondering, how can we get around this solution in the interim? There is a way we can do it, and what that involves is basically typing in your dates and then custom formatting it as a day. So what you have to do is basically type in a date, which is, in this case, for example, a Friday. Then go back one and type in another date, which in this case is a Thursday. Then you can drag down, and Excel, if you go into fill weekdays, will give you the actual right sequence. So there'll be no misinterpretations or errors on the pattern. Now, while it's still selected, on your keyboard, press Control and 1. And this brings up our formatting cells dialog box. Now, folks, this dialog box basically enables you to format the properties of the cell you've got. And in this tab here, number, you can basically tell Excel what you want these cells to be interpreted as. So we've got a couple of options here, but just for the purposes of showing you how to get the result you want here, I'm just going to go straight to this option here, custom. Now, in this field here, you basically select all of it and then just press D, 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 D. And as you can see, as I was pressing it, our sample basically became a full day, interpreted as the day of the week. Now, when we press OK, Excel will save this as one of our custom types. And the one that we overrode previously, that's still there, folks, because that's part of Excel's inbuilt custom types. So if I press OK, you can see that this is now switched to days. Now, folks, one thing to note is that we've just changed how the appearance is on the actual formatting of the cell. So it says Friday here, but if we click in our formula bar, we actually get the date. And that's because we just told Excel, yes, we know it's a date, but format it and show it as a day, which we've got here. However, our benefit here is that we've gotten our correct order now. Okay, folks, so that concludes this lecture. That was a real quick one. It was just to show you how errors can occur in Microsoft Excel, but they might not be overly obvious, and that as the user of Excel, it's a skill which will evolve and get better the more you practice and use Excel. And when I say better, I mean in terms of spotting it and getting a feel of what the result should be like. And just remember, Excel is a tool which will get you 90% of the way to your work, but the 10% remaining is down to you. Okay, so thank you, and I'll see you in the next lecture.